Wow. We're not live at Leeds, but we are live from Electric Buddy Land Studios, and this is episode 5 of that AustinBuddy TonePack Show. And I'm super excited to have my buddy here, a friend of mine I've been working with since 2019, 2020, making great bass tones. We're going to talk about bass tone packs today. Welcome, everybody. Austin's most fabulous bass player, Mr. Scott Nelson.
Thank you, buddy. How are you doing?
Say hi to the gang.
Hi, gang. How's it going?
Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
me.
So you and I have been working together, like I said, for a number of years, and we wanted to get some presets out that were bass player oriented, and I was at least smart enough at the time to know I shouldn't try and do that by myself. I should get a really good bass player. If you guys don't know Scott Nelson, and you should, Scott, background-wise, I'll get you to talk about him, but I mean, it's like, you played on the Experience Hendrix tour and you played with all those great guys. And I saw you a couple of times doing that. Zach Wilde and Eric Johnson and I mean, name after name after name. But also really you're Antone's house bass player here in town. You played with a ton of bands in town. You've done a lot of studio work, not just here, but in LA and other places. You were in band, you've toured with people like Kenny Wayne Shepherd and all kinds of things. I mean, what am I missing? Because you've done a lot of stuff over the last number of years.
Oh,
So.
I don't know. That sounds okay to me. Yeah, I guess those Hendrix tours, I got to play with a lot of my favorite people that I listened to from being a kid.
Brad Whitford.
Brad Whitford from Aerosmith.
Yeah.
David and Caesar from Los Lobos. I'm going to go see tonight.
Oh, that's great. They're playing tonight. It's in May when we're filming this.
Yeah, I don't know. Hubert Sumlin, a bunch of those blues guys, Robbie Krieger from The Doors. I don't know.
No, I mean, you may remember you calling me, oh, I'm doing a session for, and I won't drop names, but it's like, wow. So you've been doing all this stuff, but I love it because you're a great rock bass player, but you're also a great blues bass player. You can do funk. You've got a lot of wide range, which is why it was great for us to work together on this stuff.
Cool.
So, and it's worked out really well. And we had a lot of fun doing it. It took a lot of work. We did this originally on the Axe-8 and the Axe-FX III before there was an Axe-FX II, XL. And then from there, when the new stuff came out, we kind of redid it. We started from that bass, but we made it better for the new units. We added some more stuff. So I thought what we do today for this episode is have Scott play some of the things that we kind of did together, some of which would not have happened without him being here for sure. Because, it's just, he had a knowledge of bass tones that was just far beyond what I had.
And luckily we did have the advent of YouTube solo tracks did help out quite a bit.
That was an important point. When we made a lot of those artist style tracks, we went and we listened to isolated bass tracks to make sure we were getting it right. I remember that.
It is interesting because you think you're hearing exactly what it is on the record, but then out of the context of the record, you go, oh, there's not as much bass on that, or as much mid-range, and
or there's a lot
higher.
Yeah, a lot of treble, or just to make it punch through, or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So it was an education for me, and then also just trying to get not just the bass amps right, but the compression right, and then the EQ, the post stuff, and the stuff that they do in the studio. They'll try and do a DI in a bass and all this kind of thing. So it was a lot of fun. So I thought what we do today is I will go first to the first half of the 200 plus bass tone pack. And that's where we just did basic bass amps, and we just paired them with different cab sizes. And just get you to play a few things. Now, before we do that, you bought a few guitars that we actually used on it with us. One of the things we did when we made this is we used a bunch of different basses that Scott had, some with flat wounds, some with round wounds, P basses, J basses. We used my Rickenbacker. We used your Gibson, and we also made presets not for fingers and for picks. So we did some that were purposely darker, lower bass versus cutting through bass. So we really kind of tried to cover the whole realm and all that stuff.
Tried to think of everything. I'm sure there's something we left out, but.
You guys will email that in the comments about what you want next. But
absolutely.
So what I'm going to do right now is Scott played us in on the early Who Live at Leeds preset that we made. It sounded killer. We're going to go now to the beginning of the tone pack, which is a whole bunch of different amps, and of course there's nothing more quintessential than an Ampeg SVT with a 410. So to show you guys, you'll see some of this on screen before Scott jumps into it. We did, for all the bass amps, we did 4 sort of sounds. We did a very clean sound to start with, and then we warmed that sound up, which is where I think most bass players would live, recording scene 2. But then we did a gain sound, and then we got added more a boost to that, which made it more of a driven sound. And for some stuff, that's what you want. You need that little extra hair and stuff to cut through on it. But the interesting thing on the bass amps isn't just that. It's that we have scenes 5 through 8 actually split the bass amp off into one speaker on one side and puts a DI on the other side. Now, why would you do that? Well, you take the stereo outs from the TonePack, put it into your DAW or your front of house, and now you've got a DI you can mix with the bass amp, just like a lot of studios do. And we built that in here for you. So it's a really cool thing to think about.
Just like you would do live anyway, where you're going to take a DI for safety and the amp for gain, and then blend some of them depending on how the room is.
Exactly. No, exactly. So let's just walk through a couple of the quick scenes on the Ampeg. I know a lot of studio people like the Ampeg 2x10 too, little speakers for recording, and I do have one of those as well. But let's do the clean, warm, just give them a sense of it. So this is just very clean. And
just playing the P-bass pickup right now.
P-bass with round wounds?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Super. It sounds real clean. There's a lot of bottom there. You don't lose the notes up on top. They don't lower in volume because of the way we use compressors in it, right?
Super even.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted to, so you didn't like get up top and all of a sudden, where am I, right?
Yeah.
Where's the bottom's punching? So that's why we have 2 compressors in here, one before the amp, one after the amp. But this is the warm sound, so same basic amp sound, but a little boost in it. And you'll hear, to me, this sounds like a better place to live when you're playing. Yeah, and now we'll go to driven a little bit, or a little bit gain, just to hear the difference. And then this adds a little bit more dirt. Sweet. So like in one preset, if you had like a little FM3 right there, you could get any one of those 4 tones for whatever the song called for, just ready to roll, you know?
Rock out or ballad time or whatever.
Pretty cool. And then what we did is we did that for fingers, but we also did exact same version of the same one, thinking that you'd use a pick. So if you want to grab a pick, we can hear what that sounds like. See, that's clean, but that compressor changed because we wanted to give it a little more time to open up so that it didn't cut off the pick attack, you know? So let's go, let's just go right to driven, the gain one on this one now, just to hear the difference. Awesome, awesome. So we have a whole bunch of Ampegs in here, lots of different cab types. I just wanted to show that one off, but let's try a different amp that you might want to. I mean, you like, you've played a Portaflex, right?
Absolutely.
So let's try a little Portaflex 1x15, and we'll just go right to the warm sound. Wow, and that's an amp that you hear a lot of studios will have lying around, right?
Yeah.
For recording. You've probably recorded through one a couple of times.
Absolutely, and that's with round wounds and sounds really nice and clean and warm, not even using flats.
Yeah. And the flats, people will use flats with those. Wasn't like the AC/DC thing? I think we used an Ampeg B15 with flat wound. I might have read that.
Probably.
Internet will correct me if I'm wrong. So let's try another basic amp, and this one's going to sound very different. And I really like this. We're going to go to Fenderland, and we're going to do a 15-inch Bassman, nice and warm. I could hear the difference, you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's not exactly the same thing. In fact, let's go to clean in that just here, and you're wide open on. I love that. I love that. So now, same amp, same exact amp settings, but instead of into a 15-inch. A Bassman 2x12. All right, let's grind that up a little bit with a little bit of gain. So, and you might use something like that for blues and things like that, right? You know, just a nice, clean kind of
universal.
Yeah, throw me just like a blues shuffle thing real quick. Just perfectly clean, really, really, really nice. So, but we don't always like the clean, right? You and I kind of like that. That nasty Marshall stuff. So we're going to go to a Plexi 4x12 on a... Wow. There's so much like, you know, so much classic rock that starts with that tone.
A great clean bass sound is awesome, but get a little bit of grind like you would plugging into a SVT or a Fender overdriven. All of a sudden it starts feeling a little bit more like 72.
Yeah, and these guys were playing, and you know, they were playing Marshall 4x12s along the guitar player playing 4x12s. A lot of these guys were like Chris Squire and Yes, I think played a Marshall, and you know, some other folks. I don't know what Geezer played with Black Sabbath, but it's got that kind of grind.
Marshalls, I mean, the SVT didn't come along till 69.
Yeah.
I think of all the great stuff that was recorded before 69. And
yeah, that's so cool. That's so cool. Let's go modern now, and let's just try like a Mesa Boogie. This is going to sound very different than what we've listened to. Again, we've tried to give you a whole lot of diversity of tones in this deal. So here's a clean one, and I'm going to turn the fat switch on while you're playing, and you'll hear the difference. Those of you who know my presets know that I like to attach an amp boost into the preset. I like to do a fat switch, the saturation switch, and those are also applicable to the bass amp section of this tone pack, so you can do that kind of stuff. So hop in there and then I'll pop it on for you, and I'll put my hand up when it's happening. So. All right. That sounds so good.
Yeah.
I like that, man. So let's go to a dirty version of this Mesa Boogie. And again, there's two of them. I'm just doing this for demo, the one, so. Man, we did good work together. This is good stuff.
Yeah.
This sounds great. If you guys were listening at home to some of this, what I could do is split. The thing I was telling you about, the DI on one side and this on the other. So let's go to that Galen Kruger and we'll go to the dirty. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the DI on one side. It's going to sound strange because one speaker is going to be DI, one's going to be the amp, but you'll hear that that's happening. man. So you just literally, you can be at that board and just like, okay, I want a little bit of DI, I like the bass amp, bring it up, maybe 5 under.
Now, can I try that with rolling in the jazz pickup?
Absolutely, let's try that.
Yeah, I think we did that with the jazz.
Yeah,
probably.
I think we did it with the, yeah. So, but this is just the black glass pedal direct. There's no cab, nothing. You're just playing through the pedal and we're gonna go clean, warmer, gain, and driven. So it's... That's cool. So let's go up a notch to warmer on that. Yeah, and now we'll go to a little gainy. Sound of the gods. That's pretty good. Now we're going to add a little more gain to that, call this driven. Oh yeah, digital modelers, they don't feedback. No, it doesn't happen. Yeah.
Doesn't have quite the sustain.
So, that compressor was probably cutting it off, so. Hey, so now we're gonna pull up some really cool presets that are artist style presets, and we've included a 5-page, highly detailed description of each preset, which will tell you literally what guitar to use, what pickup to use, what combination of volume and tone you need to use, whether you need to use flat wounds or round wounds or even half wounds, and whether to use your fingers or your pick. So one of the fun things is we made an acoustic bass emulation, which sounds really good to me, best on this Rickenbacker. You can try it on your guitar. So Scott will play that for a little bit, and then we'll try a couple of Rickenbacker presets and do some other things. So give it a shot. That was awesome. And the secret for that you and I figured out is we shot an IR in the room. And there's a room sound in there. And you got this real clean, just fundamental bass tone. And it's kind of convincing. It kind of, you could do a jazz gig with that preset and the right kind of bass, you know?
And
it's pretty cool.
Or maybe the wrong kind of bass will sound excellent in some other idea.
You could twist it and put a distortion pedal. No.
Yeah, why not?
Put it on the middle or both pickups thing, and then you roll off the neck volume by 80, but everything else is wide open, and so you kind of get that scooped route. This is the earlier Rush sort of era stuff, so. Maybe we can try like a Paul McCartney bass kind of a thing. So right about here. Neck only, yeah. Roll tone knob off and think Taxman or Rain or whatever feels good. I love that guitar.
Yeah.
Let's pick up a flat wound and try some flat wound things now.
Let's do that.
Cool. So we got a Bill Wyman preset here, which is a P bass with flat wounds, right? Mm-hmm. So maybe give us a little bit of that. love it. That sounds just like it, man. That sounds just
great sound.
And I think we really went to get the tracks for a lot of this stuff and tried to hear exactly when we get an isolated one. Let's try this is more P-bass flat wound stuff. So this is like AC/DC, and I think we wrote it as TNT-ish, but whatever you feel like.
Well, then here's a variety of notes.
Yeah. That's how the rock.
Gotta have it.
I love that. All right.
30 million albums sold.
I'm trying to. Boy, there's something to it. So let's do a Pino Palladino. We did one for that. Just kind of because he's such a great bass player, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. Well, you know, we haven't done any James Jamerson yet. We probably should do that, right? Let me find the James Jamerson one. So we have two James Jamerson ones: P-bass, flat wounds, both of them. One of them's roll tone volume down, and this is the just low. So tell me which one you like best. Let's do that exactly same thing, but with this sound now. If you're still with us, you're a nerd like us. This is just a ton of great bass tones in here.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're like getting all over the place.
This is great for sitting at home practicing too, instead of like, how do I dial in that sound? Just, you got it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's pull out of this and get back to the round wound, and then we'll do some more modern stuff. Play a little Clash for us, Scotty. Love that. That sounds so good, man.
Me too.
That sounds so good. And then we did the London Calling as well.
Yeah.
That's right on it, man. That's right on it. Let's do Dreams. So good. That's so fun to do, man. That's so good.
It's fun
That's
sound.
so good. I love that sound. That sounds so good, man. I guess everybody kind of likes U2, right? So maybe we should pull up a little bit of a kind of a U2 bass. I think we did two different kinds, right? This is like Beautiful Day, I think, or something like that.
Wait, do we have
It's a J bass.
PJ or J?
It says just J bass.
Okay.
So. So again, we didn't necessarily write these for like here's your cover song, right? But we wanted to get inspired by a specific sort of thing. We knew that people like to play songs by a lot of these artists, so we tried to give you a sound that's in that artist's style. None of these are endorsements, of course. There'll be a legal disclaimer at the end of the video. So, let me, baby. That's so chilling. Let me lift.
Yeah. Also on the back.
Lemmy's everywhere on the space, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna move out of that heavy stuff for a minute and let's try some soul funky stuff. That sounded pretty good.